Hello, I'm Nathan the Mad, and here's my 6 tips for living longer and playing better in World of Tanks. Number 1 on the list is use your minimap. You should at least be looking at your minimap every 30 seconds. You should be keeping an eye on where your team is, where the enemy team is, where they were last spotted. It also means you can see gaps in the team. You can see if enemy are creeping up behind you. The amount of times I've seen players being hit from behind because they haven't seen enemy tanks that have been working their way through the game up towards behind them. So always use your minimap. Every 30 seconds you should just quickly glance, check where they are and come back to it. Number 2 on the list is never push solo. When I talk about pushing solo, I don't mean pushing Han Solo. You should really never ever annoy him because he will kill your cat. No, when I mean don't push solo, I mean look at your team. If you're the only one on the flank, if you're the only one going in that direction, then you're just going to die no matter how good of a player you are because you're always going to come up against multiple players. The time you do push solo is when you've seen a gap in the lines and you know for sure that you can definitely make an advantage on there. Never blindly push on your own because you'll just lose and die and it'll just annoy you. Number 3 on the list is use the ground. So when I say use the ground, it's an old military term that basically means to move through the ground stealthily. So use natural dips and low points in the map to stay unseen. Never silhouette on a hilltop, and when I mean silhouette, never go on top of a hilltop. If you're going to move along the line of the ridge or line of the hilltop, stay out of the top, because especially if you don't know what's on the other side of the hill, it'll save you getting shot unnecessarily, and it'll also make you move through the map quite stealthily. Tip number 4 is be one with the trees and bushes. In World of Tanks, camera rating is everything. So your use of trees, fallen trees and bushes is key. For example, if you are camping behind a bush, in a good sense, you're trying to defend a flag or a cap, then what you want to do is basically sit in the bush, spot the vehicle you want to spot, then roll back 5 meters and then shoot. Basically, that stops them from seeing you every time you fire. Especially with the new TD mechanics where you basically fire a flare every time you fire. So you want to basically drop back from behind the bush or tree or whatever you would hide behind to keep cover. You can also use what this thing people call double bushing. So you basically sit behind a row of 2 bushes and that boosts your camera rating because they can only see through the first and not the second when you fire. So think about where you position yourself, think about knocking trees down, providing cover for yourself, and it will make you live longer and it should hopefully get you more kills. Like I say, sit in the bush, spot the enemy, drop back 5-10 meters, then fire, then roll forwards to spot them again. Tip number 5 is learn the weak spots. Every tank has a weak spot in the game. Some are hard to find, some are easy to find. Obviously the sides and the rear of most tanks are weak spots, but you've got to learn when you're not always going to get a chance to take a tank on from the side or the rear. You've got to learn where the front weak spots are. If you're going to be shooting at range, especially as a new player, I advise shooting at range before you start brawling. You've got to learn where the weak spots are, you know, where their ammo racks are, where their engines are and disable, so you can, as you're playing and when you get better, and you can actually go around and disable tanks and then take them on and change the game. It's the way that you play that basically makes the game win. So you've got to learn how to take these tanks on. So get out there. There are sites you can go and look on to look for the weak spots. Make sure you go revise and practice, even find a friend to practice with. Last but not least, number 6, always camp. This is one of the most key ones, and this is why I've left it to the last. Why I say always cap, I've seen time and time again where teams that are winning a game on numbers lose because they basically have gone chasing the enemy are in a better defensive position and they wipe out the entire team. Whereas if you cap on the enemy's cap, they have to come to you to decap. So you'll get a lot of people running off and going chasing the enemy, and like I say, the enemy's in a better position than you. He will just see you coming and kill you. Whereas if you're on their cap, they have to come to you. They have to come across open ground to come and get you. So you're forcing their hand. It also means if they're too stupid to come and get you, you win anyway. Never forfeit a win for kills. You don't get any more as a team XP for killing everyone. So always take the win, take the cap. So this concludes my 6 tips for new players to live longer and play better. I hope it's helped. Um, I will be doing more videos like this, more helpful tips and tricks to basically allow and assist new players to survive longer and do better in battles. If you like the video, like and subscribe. And once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.